Hi, this is Cate Crowley. This is Module 5 of the module series, Culturally and Linguistically Appropriate Evaluations, what every EI evaluator in New York City needs to know. This series of modules is based on a training I did for the New York City Department of Health in March and April of 2016. And many people asked me if they could get when I was doing it again. So this is why we made this video module, so you can look at them if you were at the training and want to refer back to something, or if you weren't able to make it. So our module 5 is developing informed clinical opinion through observational skills. I'm sort of hammering that in order to have informed clinical opinion, you have to know what typical is. You have to know what not and atypical is. And so we're going to look at some videos to see what is typical, how to develop observation skills, and think about creating vignettes, holograms, or painting a picture of the children you evaluate. So the evaluator must demonstrate the child's level of functioning by specific descriptions of the child's skills. A listing of what the child got right or wrong on a test or chart is completely inadequate. Also woefully inadequate is simply listing the New York State Department of Health causes for concerns. Evaluators must incorporate the specific data learned during the assessment and evaluation process and make vignettes or holograms or pictures of the child in the report to illustrate the child's functioning levels based on the evaluator's informed clinical opinion. So we're going to have a look at Abigail, our dear Abigail, 20 months old. What do you learn about cognition, communication, motor, pragmatics, socialization from this video?
¿Quieres? De yo quiero Cheerios. Por favor. Muy bien. ¿Qué más tú quieres? ¿Qué tú quieres? Ok. El autobús. Di mami. ¿Qué tú dices? Mami. ¿Qué tú quieres? Yo quiero ping pong. ¿Cuál es ping pong? La vaca. Es de la niña. ¿Quieres la niña?
Sí.
Ok, vamos a ponerte la niña. Una canción infantil de la niña.
So there you saw dear Abigail. Her mom is trying to get her to say things, and she's doing it so she can get the Cheerios. But she doesn't really like that. We've seen that before. She just wants to, she is a very self-directed child in a beautiful way. So she wants something on the TV. Bim bom, bim bom. She's going to create a great ruckus about this exciting thing that's on the TV. Bim bom and the vaca and la niña. The bim bom, which is usually some kind of figure, a clown figure. La vaca, the cow, and the girl, right? She's like, let's go see this. And she is very successful in pulling her mom out of making her learn her speech into really getting to where she wants to go. So you can see her jumping up and down. You can see her pragmatics and socialization in the way she gets her mom to move away from what the mom wants to do into what Abigail wants to do. And her mom is a delightful, delicious mom. And then cognitively, you can see so much problem solving going on trying to move her away from that. Here we have Pa. He's 15 months old. And we're going to watch this video of him and think about what we're watching, what we're observing, what he's able to do.
He wants to dance. Watch this. Enzo, you want some music? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You want music?
TV on the music on the TV, right?
Yeah, Pandora.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Maybe later?
Is it stuck? Is it stuck? The peep peep stuck? Can you get it? Can you get that for me? I want to see it. Please. Please? I want to see it.
Oh. You want to help?
Can you get that for me? Thank you. Where is it? What's in there? Where is it?
Over there.
Over there. Where's my shoe? What happened to that shoe?
Over there. I love that. Over there. You fall down? Uh-oh, I fell down. Can you get that for me? It's over there. Got it?
It's all about him.
Oh, that was a good share. And he's off.
So here you see Pa. He hears about music and he immediately points at the TV, which is where they watch their music and their songs and their ABCs. And then what I love to see, and we're talking about how one of we evaluators in the room is going to change things, one of us evaluators. Here he is. He's reaching for something in the couch. I said, well, what's there? Is it stuck? And he immediately goes, what's going on with this lady? And he stops, he pauses, he pulls his hand out, he freezes. And then his sister, who I had just had some pizza with in the kitchen, she's a little more engaged. But finally, after a little while, he's very connected to his mom. And then when I say, where's my shoe, or whatever we say, where's the toy, and he says, over there. It's probably not 2 words, it's probably just a chunk, but we get a lot out of watching him come to life in this video. So what do these holograms, vignettes, bringing the child to life, painting the child, look like? Let me read you one. This 13-year-old demonstrated relatively good interactive skills, which are essential pre-linguistic skills to develop communication. Now that's my clinical description. Now I'm going to give you my hologram. For example, this evaluator shook a rattle and made some bilabial sounds, ba 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 ba. The baby watched her and the rattle. When she put it down, the baby looked at her directly, smiled broadly, waved his hand in the same way she shook the rattle before, and said da 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 da. The baby is functioning at 6 to 9 month level in language comprehension and expression. So how about this one? This 30-month-old boy requested toys by saying, Ma-ka, Mommy, give me the car. When his mother told him he could play with a different toy if he put the other one away, he put the toy away, pointed to it, looked at his mom, and said, Ya de. He was speaking Spanish, meaning, Ya guardé. I put it away. How about this one, same boy? When this 30-month-old boy was given some plastic bugs to play with, here's your cognition and motor. He was clearly interested in them and wanted to know their names. He held up each one to his mom and said, with an intonation that he wanted to know what it was, and the mom named each bug. When he discovered the second beetle in the group, he fished out the first beetle and held both up, demonstrating that he was engaged in the activity and intellectually involved in grouping and categorizing the bugs. Now we're going to look a little bit at Alex, looking at cognition, fine motor, and comprehension and expression. Now I'd like you to take Thomas the train and put him through the basketball hoop. Can you take Thomas the tank and hide him under the little chair? Wow! Now I'd like you to take Thomas the train. Come here. This little surprise. Take Thomas the train. Give him to Mommy and give Mommy a kiss. Can I take this over here and just bring it right here? Is that okay with you? All right, okay. So, I want you to take Thomas the train, and I want you to put, is this a bridge? Yeah, okay. I want you to put Thomas under the bridge. Excellent. He likes being in there, I think. Now I'd like you to take Thomas and put him on top of the bridge. On top. Very nice. Wow. And now I'd like you to take Thomas and put him next to the bridge. Whew. Terrific. So as you can see with Alex, we can get a lot about his comprehension skills, his fine motor skills, his cognitive skills, and even his gross motor skills, doing something like this to get a sense of where he is in terms of his age-appropriate levels. And you can see across all of the domains in this section, he is clearly age-appropriate. This again is that Alex 2-year, 10-month-old who we will talk about in the apraxia module, but he's the one who we have the ASHA CEUs for at leadersproject.org. So now you're going to watch a video of Abe at 36 months, and you're going to see him. He's already created the little box in the magnetiles. You're going to see he definitely has motor issues, gross and fine motor issues. There's some drooling sometimes, but he's so bright. And he has motor issues in terms of expressive language, but his receptive language is right on. He's another child that was identified as severely cognitively impaired by an evaluator who didn't separate out in early intervention. This is about 9 months before, who did not separate out cognition from motor. And this child, by the way, you can see, even though he has some motor issues, fine and gross motor issues, he puts those trains together. He figures out how to do it. He rides his scooter with his brother down. So this is a kid that even though he has some motor issues, he's able to go beyond because of his cognitive skills, his problem-solving skills, his inferencing skills.
Uh-oh. Need another one?
I'm going to see you build a train track. Can you build a train track? Let me see.
Here. Ready? Let's start. Good.
Track.
Do you need more? Do you need more pieces? Oh, I'm gonna build mine. I'm gonna make mine really long. Do you need more? Oh. Here. You want more? Everywhere you turn.
So I just want to remind you all that informed clinical opinion does not correlate with the number of EI evaluations an evaluator has completed. Just because someone has many years of experience does not mean they have informed clinical opinion. They may have an opinion, and they may be clinicians, but informed clinical opinion is not something that we all have. How do we develop it? So as we're looking at these videos, how do you develop it? Be on top of the research and understand the statistical base of any assessment tool you use. By identifying biases in assessment materials and many current developmental milestones. By spending time assessing typically developing children from the same age and cultural and linguistic background as the ones we are evaluating for early intervention, and by ensuring that we as clinicians have a deep understanding of appropriate developmental milestones. So the question is, after reading the report, can the person who's reading it close their eyes and see the child? Not all delays rise to the level so a child qualifies for EI services. So the child may have a delay, but it may be not significant enough to qualify for EI services. So what if a child doesn't have a significant enough delay, but has a delay? When a child does not qualify, EI professionals should be prepared to discuss the results of the evaluation with the family and make suggestions and recommendations to support the child's development. New York City Department of Health EI, under Jeanette Gong's, one of her initiatives is developmental monitors. So those kids that don't qualify but have a delay, they can be monitored by EI. Evaluators must be certain not to make the child look worse so the child qualifies for EI services. I've heard this too many times from the field. That is fraud. It's not worth your state license. The change needs to happen in the trenches. Culturally and linguistically appropriate evaluations only happen if the evaluators find out who is this child and have the informed clinical opinion needed to analyze the data and draw appropriate conclusions. Now, for the next module, we're going to look at when is a bilingual evaluation appropriate, and the last module will look at how to identify apraxia and write up evaluations for apraxia. So for more information, you can go to leadersproject.org. Grammar Fundamentals is there. Differential Diagnosis and Preschool Evaluations has the free ASHA CEUs for the ALEX evaluation. So this is of a 13-year-old. Then you have model speech language evaluations and test reviews of the most commonly used tests.